episode is aptly titled Gone, and that's me. Gone off Michonne. But before we get to them, let's talk about Michonne. In this episode, we're shown her journey, both physically and emotionally, to finding Rick. Okay, so she runs into this group of people. She saves them, brings them back to the community. They live in a dog eat dog type of calm, and she encourages them to leave, like go find better, like come to Alexandria. And they do leave, and they lose their lives. And I think this encounter served to show Michonne what a huge risk she's taking. I think this drove it home to her that, like, you're doing this and you may die before you get to Rick. And she almost did. You may die on the road, and Rick may never know that you were coming. He may never know that you even left Alexandria. Okay? And on the other side, Judith may have to eventually just accept when it's been, well, it has been a year, but like after a year, 2 years, 3 years, you are making it possible that Judith may just have to accept that you died and then have to tell RJ, Mommy's gone. And you end up just being stories that your kids share if Judith even like remembers, because she's so young. You have Aiden, who had the promise of new life, a new journey for her and her partner, and a new community, a new way of life. Like so many promises, so much hope when they turn their back on their community, only for none of that to come true, right? Hope dashed, destiny unfulfilled, promise ripped away from you. And like I said about Judith, Aiden's sister is going to have to just assume that her sister is dead. And Michonne had a whole year to think about that, to think about the fact that like these people took a chance, a brave chance, and they lost their lives. And they didn't see it coming. Nat lost all his people, 2 out of 3 of his favorite people, and it was just him. So after a year of stewing on that and how that worked out, and then coming across the burnt bodies, this woman spent hours until the sun set examining each burnt body, hoping she does not identify Rick among those bodies. After all of that, yeah, turning around sounded like a logical choice, a logical option. The line that Nat says to Michonne, you can believe a little longer and still go home to your kids, is the saddest line I've heard in a long time. Especially for someone like Michonne, it's delusion. Because Michonne believing is her like charging, head first into, the wild looking for Rick. And I don't think I finished my thought earlier when I was saying that the chance that Michonne took to go find Rick is huge and reckless and lightweight, high-key, irresponsible and brave, and is the kind of decision and chance and choice that only someone powered by like indescribable love could take. We know Michonne, her saying, okay, is her dying on the inside. Like, a part of her dies when she says that. Just like when Rick said last episode, I couldn't take my life. I couldn't do it, but I still died. That was Michonne's death. And that's why, like, that wailing, like, guttural cry by the fireplace was so gut-wrenching. Because that was the death of her hope. The death of a future she had stopped thinking about and then started to think about again. Just like, making the responsible, logical choice for the sake of her children. Maybe a small part of her would believe that he's out there, but she said like she could feel him. I'm pretty sure she said that. Maybe I'm being delusional. I think she did say she could feel him. To turn around and go back would be her suppressing that feeling. A part of her died. And so she makes the decision to go back. Her and Nat see the helicopter and they're ready for revenge. And Nat shoots it down. And Michonne gets to slicing, picking them up one by one. And then for the last one, she's like, I want to see you as you see me, as I take your life. gets the sword ready, the katana, takes off the mask, and it's her man. Before we get any further into them, I knew Nat was a goner. I liked him a lot, but I knew. I didn't call Aiden and her partner. I wasn't sure. But Nat, I knew. He had the story. I knew. And yet, I gasped when he got shot. Rest in peace, Nat. The reunion gave me wings. The caressing, the kiss, the relief, especially on Michonne's part. The score during the reunion scene, it was perfect. I think there is so much in Rick, first and foremost, telling Michonne, I'm not with them. I feel like that answers Nat's question. Like, that more than anything answers Nat's question of, like, is that still him? Relief flooding his body. The first thing, not high, the first thing Rick wants to get off his chest is, I'm not with them. Just, and then, like, they can't even really indulge because the enemy is coming. Michonne just found this man. She's like, all right, cool, let's go. And Rick's like, nah, we can't. And he starts pulling her into this mess of, like, fake identity, fake name. Here's your backstory. Don't say this, do this. Only Rick and Michonne. Also, like, with the whole, like, going undercover thing, because that's essentially what they're doing. Does anyone have the fic of, like, you know, undercover, like, mercenaries, undercover assassins, like, good fic? If you have it, send it my way. But this helicopter is, like, barreling down on Michonne, right? She's about to step into who knows what. Rick is about to take her further away from Alexandria for who knows how long. These people were dropping chlorine gas on folks. But homegirl is smiling because she found her man. She'll go anywhere. She will go anywhere. She's with Rick, okay? And so they go, and Michonne's getting her, you know, her acting on. The detail of her, like, looking at the glass and being like, I haven't seen my reflection in a while. Girl, you so smart. And then after that, you know, she's walking around, looking around, and here comes Rick, grabbing her by the arm. My stomach flipped. I got butterflies when he, like, grabbed her arm. I'm not exaggerating. My stomach flipped. I'm telling you, I'm having a moment watching this show. And we're only 2 episodes in. He grabs her arm. Her smile. Michonne was looking like, where are we going? What are we about to do, Rick? And so they go inside the warehouse, and, you know, Rick's checking. Michonne's checking. He doesn't even let her finish checking before he's grabbing her and kissing her, because Rick has been through a lot. Rick has known suffering. Mental suffering, physical suffering, resolve breaking suffering. This man has been going through it. Michonne has been going through it, I'm sure, especially with losing him, but, like, she at least still had, like, her community, she had her kids, RJ, like, she had reminders of Rick, pieces of Rick, right? Rick has been in hell, okay? Has literally been escaping in his dreams every night, crafting a storyline in order, right? It's not like he's, like, dreaming scattered. His story is straight. Every time he goes to sleep, the scene picks up where it left off. And so now, the literal woman of his dream is in the flesh. What you mean? Like, oh no, he's not gonna let her get but a couple of steps before he's dragging her back and kissing her. And not to mention, they just reunited and he has to stay away from her, so as to not draw suspicion. That is my favorite scene of the episode. The moaning in that scene, especially from Rick. I'm telling you, my skin is clear. The days are brighter. I don't know if we're gonna get to see them copulate. If we do, somebody will have to check on me. Come check this page. Because if they go there, if they show us that reunion, I will be laid out. I will be on the floor, catatonic. I am nervous about Rick passing notes. God, the danger. And so they separate. Michonne continues looking around. She's still like, of course, like pissed and angry about what these people are doing. She sees the operation and she's ready to burn it all down. Right? Rick is scared. Like it's giving Negan, like when he first encountered, not first encountered Negan, because when Rick first encountered Negan, he was cocky. But Negan eventually beat him into submission by killing, like, I don't even remember how many of his people. Rick is back because he's like mentally, emotionally beaten down by these people. He's a hostage, been a hostage. Michonne, though, she just got there. So she's got all the gumption to take these people down. So she's like flicking in the name of Nat. I'm gonna burn all this shit down. Elsewhere, we got somebody who was like looking at Michonne's interview, and it's Jadis. I ain't seen Jadis in years. She's got a severe haircut. That final line, Rick, what the fuck are you doing? Is amazing. It's delivered so perfectly. She's threatening to expose them. She's telling him he can never leave. And that is where we end. In the next episode, I see Thorne investigating and asking Michonne questions. Thorne, mind the business that pays you. Okay, she continues to be on the wrong foot with me. So, with that said, with this ending, I have a question that I have to ask. And my question is, this is going to be a happy ending, right? Like, the show is called The Ones Who Live. So, naturally, they should live. And they should leave together. Or even if they don't, even if they are stuck in that damn prison, we end episode 6 and they're in that prison, or we end episode 6 and they're surrounded by a horde of walkers. Notice the fact that I'm saying they. As long as they're together, cool. Because you didn't bring me back after more than 5 years to fuck with me, right? Because I know how y'all are. Okay? Let's be respectful of people's feelings and fragility. Okay? I give this episode a 4 out of 5. See you for the next one.